Hey guys, I just wanted to go over some stuff. This video is a mix of all different types of things. Um, there's a lot of things that I didn't know about this whole process on starting the hormone treatments. I just thought it was simple. You go in, get a therapy session, and they give you the meds. You don't hear a lot about the little details and stuff. So I just wanted to, in just my experience, honestly. This is for anybody who is interested and may help, so you're not caught off guard or surprised by anything. Pretty much the things that I learned starting this process. Smoking is, a lot of people do it. It's a nasty habit. I vape. Um, she said that, even if it's the littlest milligram of nicotine in your vape, it can still increase uh, your risk of heart disease, which runs rapid in my family, especially with men. So I have been trying to wean myself down to 0 milligrams on nicotine. Um, when the day came that it was my first day to be put on T, the doctor that I spoke to 2 times previous, I had to meet up twice before I got my first dose of testosterone. She actually gave me a choice on which method I preferred. So she gave me the option of injection, which she said obviously, as you can see, is the most common. There's patches, there's gels, and there's creams, and she gave me my own choice on what I wanted to do, what I felt comfortable with. She did say that patches and creams and stuff are more expensive than injection, so I went with injection just for price wise, because I don't have an income at all, and my fiance is footing the bill for everything. Makes me feel like poo. But I chose injection, so that was a surprise, and which leads to the next part of injection. I did not have a choice where to do the injection. That facility that I went to specifically, which is Fenway Health, which is in Boston, Massachusetts. You can literally see the ballpark across the street. If you've watched my other videos, I took you on a tour. Um, so pretty much, I didn't have the option to choose where the shot was done, which I don't mind because they swear by intramuscular injection, which means in the muscle of the thigh or something like that. Um, the benefits and everything of this injection site. For one, she said if you use creams or gels or patches, it still is going to, in the end, initially give you that effect that you are looking for. You will fully transition. It's not going to affect how you transition, but being on a dose where you have to inject yourself, you will get you get the results quicker, and it's more efficient than patches or creams, which is transdermal. This is going straight into a muscle. Injections happen quicker. Um, the benefit of some people will do there's different types of injection. There's intramuscular, which is what I do, which is in the leg, the thigh muscle. I've seen other people who do it on their upper butt cheek or around their belly button. Honestly, they don't recommend it. That's why they strongly suggested thigh. They won't have it any other way. Um, the reason for this, which I think everybody should take note of, If you are doing it in your stomach and your butt, maybe you should ask your doctor. But she told me we only do the intramuscular in the thigh for reasons to help reduce bad side effects of the testosterone, like mood swings and stuff like that. When you do injections through the fatty areas of the stomach and the butt or something like that, the fat is not absorbing evenly, which can cause an unsteady flow of testosterone running through your body, and you will end up with the mood swings and a lot of negative effects. When it's done in the muscle and the leg, think about it. You breathe, oxygen goes through your muscle, you work out or anything, your heart rate raises, blood is flowing through your muscle, it's going straight into your system. It's not being absorbed by fatty tissue, which is not always absorbing very evenly. So I would say, for the benefit of getting the best results and the least amount of like crappy side effects like mood swings and stuff like that, ask your doctor about intramuscular injections in the thigh muscle. It seems to be working pretty fine for me. It's easy to do, especially when you're queasy when it comes to getting shots, especially doing them to yourself. So I did, obviously choose to do the injection, and I agreed, okay, I'll do the muscle. Hopefully it doesn't hurt. It didn't hurt. You honestly don't feel anything at all. The only thing is, like, I don't know, like, that'll be in my next section. I got like a list of stuff to talk about. So pretty much I had the option to choose what form of testosterone I wanted to take. Now, the place I went to only wanted to do the leg muscle. I'm sure there's plenty of other places that will have you choose where you want it done. I would honestly prefer it in the thigh, just because you get a more positive result. My insurance. I'm in Massachusetts and I have no income, so I have free health insurance. I have Mass Health, and they ruin everything. They make your life difficult for no reason because you're poor. My insurance made me wait a little bit to get my script finally after my third injection with the clinic. They looked in the records. They were waiting. The pharmacy had to wait for insurance to approve everything, because it's not normal that a natural born female, it's not normal for them to have to take testosterone. It's more of a guy thing if they're low on testosterone and they're having issues with energy, sleep, sex drive, mood swings as well. So it's almost like a man period for a dude if they're low on T. But so that was pretty much, like, I had a difficulty with that. I actually finally have all my stuff here. I have my little care package. I have my testosterone in here. It's 100 milligram, but they taught me to do 200 milligrams. So my dose is 50 milligrams a week. I do my shot weekly. Every Friday is my shot day. They did end up giving me a 100 milligram when they were using a 200 milligram bottle at the clinic. But dosage and stuff seems like it'd be really hard to understand, but I can go more in depth about that at a later time. But I got the syringes. They come in one piece. At the clinic, they taught me how, like, you should always change your needles after drawing out the medication and then doing the injection. You should switch a needle. This comes in one piece. They said you're at home, you're the only one using it, the vial, and you're the only one using the needles. Don't reuse the needles, but you don't have to change it when you're at home. So they gave me 4 needle/syringes for the month. The bottle is a 10 ml bottle, which will last a little over a month, which is good. And another thing is brought up to me, I knew people froze their eggs in advance if they wanted to have children. And I, for some reason, was so distracted with just trying to get this medication thing done and over with, get the first injection out of the way. When I had my second appointment, I made a video about it. She warned me, you should freeze your eggs before you have your shot done because it will impair your eggs in some way. And for me, being sedated or anything like that, I have a lot of anxiety. So it was a hard decision because my entire life I wanted to have my own child, and then it was put in my face like, you have to make this decision. And I was so antsy about having my first T-shot that she said that like every appointment I could schedule between 2 to 4 weeks, and I was so impatient. Every appointment I scheduled for another 2 weeks, so it happened really quick. So I had 2 weeks to decide on whether the scary anxiety feeling of being sedated and having someone go inside you and do all this stuff was worth it in the end, because I always wanted to have my child. Turns out my insurance did not cover the procedure, so I had to just deal with it, you know. Some people have said if you stop testosterone, you can still carry and have a child, which is something to keep in mind, but I don't think I'm the person to carry. I would love the baby to be my DNA, my blood, but I don't think I'm supposed to carry this child. I don't feel like it's natural. Men shouldn't be carrying their child, and I'm not saying this to be stereotypical or anything, but for me, I do feel like I am a man. A man naturally would not be pregnant. So for me, it just feels like an awkward thing. I would love to be able to have my baby inside someone else. That feels more normal to me, but that's just me. I don't want you to feel like you have to feel that way because you're transgender, because there's plenty of people who are trans male who do choose to carry a baby and become pregnant, even when, like, there's the famous pregnant man that's been on the news years and years ago. It's possible, it can happen. People don't mind it. I personally, my opinion, don't feel like it's the right move for me. Now, those are things that I weren't aware of jumping into this. Things to expect afterwards. Being on T, pretty much when you're giving yourself your shot, especially through the muscle, the first 2 times I did not feel anything. They said, there's a lot of nerve endings and stuff, but majority of the time you won't feel the needle going in. You don't feel anything. You don't even feel a pinch when it breaks through the skin. The 3rd time I gave myself my shot, I might have gotten it at a weird angle, and I got a weird muscle twitch in my thigh that made my foot kick, almost like when someone's trying to check your reflexes on your knee, and it was a very strange feeling. But they said it's okay if you guys are doing the intramuscular in the thigh and you feel that sensation. It's okay, it's normal. It varies depending on the section that you chose. You have a big section to choose from on your thigh, and it all depends on the area. Sometimes you might hit the muscle in a certain direction that will cause it to twitch, or it could be you chose an area that has a lot more nerve endings. It happens. Don't freak out if that happens. You didn't ruin anything. I did it at the clinic while the nurse was watching me, and he's like, that's okay, it's fine, it's normal. You may feel it, you may not feel it. It's all depending on the area that you chose to inject in. And you have a good portion of your thigh to choose a spot from. Always alternating legs or sides, that's normal, anybody who's doing an injection anywhere in your body, you always alternate areas. You never do in the same spot. Um, for me personally, after starting testosterone, I didn't expect it, but my whole body got achy, almost like I was having growing pains, and I'm wondering if it's just my body like taking in the medication, or if my bone structure is starting to grow. I have slight curvature of the spine, so my back has been bothering me a lot more, which they did say when you start taking testosterone, you're more prone to tendon and joint injuries, which I already have a slight curve in my spine, so I already had pain from that, and it just seems to be a little bit worse than it normally is. Just my whole body felt achy. I move around and my bones are cracking out all over the place. That's something that I am experiencing from time to time. Just you may get body aches. That's something to expect. The doses, when it comes to the dosage, they taught me with a 2 milligram vial and a 1 mil syringe, and they said your milligram is 50 milligrams. So with the 1 mil syringe, for every mil, it was 200 milligrams at the clinic. So I had to draw 0.25 from the syringe. Now coming home, they gave me a 3 mil syringe with a 100 milligram vial, and it made me nervous. I was going to give myself the wrong med. But if you do the math out, I have ADHD. It's hard for me to understand. It's hard for me to count and do math out and stuff. My mother works in a hospital, so that's great. She got a second opinion from another nurse who knows how to distribute medications through syringes and the calculations and stuff. The medication that the vial that I have is 100 milligrams. So in every milliliter, there's 100 milligrams, and I have to take 50, which is half a mil. So they gave me 3 mil syringe, but I was nervous because I didn't know what it was going to look like. I'm going to show you a syringe that's empty. It has no needle on it. This came from the hospital that my mother worked at to show me. She didn't bring the needle home. She just brought it to me like this to show me. This is a 3 mil syringe. It says it. And I was worried, but it actually shows you 1/2, 1/2, 2, 2/2, and 3. So pretty much, if I have a 100 milligram vial and I need to take 50 milligrams, I have to take half a mil. So there you go, right there. Boom. There's my dose right there. So that's how much that I'll be taking in. So yeah, eventually you'll get used to it. They said that they start everybody off around 50 milligrams. That's normal, and then they adjust it from there based on if you have negative side effects or whatever. They can lower the amount or whatever. It seems really confusing with the dosage, but when tomorrow comes, I'm doing my first injection at home without supervision, and I'm super nervous. My fiance is going to record me, so I will be going through the steps, and I might go into more detail about, you know, the dosage and stuff. Now, as for me in general, since I've taken tea, the only changes that I'm seeing or noticing, and that I'm asking other people who have been around me a little bit, or people who haven't been around me as much, is easier to tell if there's been any changes. First of all, tomorrow will be my 4th injection, which means I'll be 3 weeks on tea. And my changes so far with dysphoria, I'm having more dysphoria with my voice because it hasn't dropped much or at all. So going outside, everybody's assuming I'm male, and then I speak and it's like, okay, you're not. it's really difficult. I don't feel like talking when I'm outside. It's bad. And I also have this tattoo because I kept in my head that I was just gonna deal with it and I was just gonna stay a lesbian forever and just live in misery. But I'm not. So I plan on redoing my tattoo to something. It may be hard to read the font. I'm still working on the phrase and the font itself, but I will be filling in, that's a reference I drew, I will be filling in the stars all black because that's also giving me a bit of discomfort out in public where I want to wear long sleeve shirts when I go outside because when I start passing as male, I don't want people to see this rainbow tattoo and think that I am anything other than a straight male. It's not like I'm against gay people. I love the gay community. I've been a part of the gay community for a very long time, and transgender people are a part of the gay community. Some people are now starting to question whether they should be a part of the gay community and take the T out of LGBTQ. There's like almost every letter of the alphabet now in this thing. But for me personally, when I see the stars, I'm going to know what they originally meant. That was my favorite tattoo. I got so many compliments on it. But this is a new start, a new life for me. And when I look at that, I'm going to remember what's underneath it and what it stood for. And I'm not going to forget. I'm not trying to like disown the gay community or anything like that. It's just something to make me feel a little bit more comfortable. I wouldn't want people to think I'm a gay man, you know? I strived very hard to get on T and to be at this point, which I never thought I would even start T. So personally, the dysphoria is mostly within my voice and like certain things like my chest a little bit. My chest is a little too big to bind, so I wear hoodies so that way when they hang down it looks flat. Other changes, I'm sweating a lot more. Body odor has become a bit stronger. Honestly, I already had a sweating issue because I have an anxiety disorder. So I got it under control with Degree deodorant for men. It stopped my sweating, but now I have to, and I would put it on once and it's supposed to last 48 hours, and I could last almost a whole week before with the deodorant on and be like, wow, I still smell great. I have to put deodorant on at least 2 or 3 times a day now, which is crazy. My appetite is crazy. It's like a compulsion. I can't control it. I feel hungry, like I'm starving, and I eat something, and the food makes me even hungrier that I can't stop eating. And I've been gaining at least 1 pound every week since I've started T. It's making me a little nervous because I am trying to control my eating and I'm trying to exercise. I've been lifting weights and jogging and doing stuff again because I kind of slacked off a little bit. So I'm not sure if this is fat or muscle growth that's making me gain weight. And I'm just hoping it's muscle because I'm not noticing a physical change in my body, but their weight is changing. My sleeping, I could go to bed at 12 in the morning and wake up at 2 in the afternoon the next day and feel like I only slept 3 hours and I'm super groggy and I feel like I could just sleep all day. You can never get enough sleep. So that's another thing that happened within like the first 48 hours of me being on T. The appetite and the sleeping was a big effect. I noticed my hair on my head is not growing. I'm not losing my hair, but I haven't cut my hair in 2 weeks. I used to trim my hair up and refreshen it every week. It's been 2 weeks and my hair hasn't grown any longer. It's stayed the same. So I'm worried. My mother said, don't cut it. Because the doctor warned me there's a possibility of, losing hair in the temple area, male pattern baldness, or you can be completely bald. And I was worried that I was going to become completely bald. So she's like, don't cut it. Also, pretty much the last thing is downstairs. After about a week, I noticed there was a little bit of a change. It's gotten a little fatter. It hasn't really gotten longer or grown crazy big. It's a little uncomfortable when I sit down. Underwear rubbing on an area is starting to become more exposed than usual. So it's a little weird, but I have a lot of things to do. I have to get ready for an appointment. I hope I covered enough stuff, but I gotta go.